Regular monthly meeting of the Board of Commissioners, constitutional meditation from Alpha to Auburn. Is not here. Keith, you lead us in pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mayor, would you please go to the roll?
Ronald Colley,
Yeah.
Clarence Marks, Mitch Downs,
Here.
Roland Huron, Roland Guidry,
Here.
Bob Falk,
Here.
McNeely Roan,
Here.
Keith Guidry,
Here.
Monty Vegas.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a forum.
Okay, you've received a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. Any corrections, additions, or deletions from those minutes as presented? Hearing none, if all vote, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, it is that 1 month out of the year, we get a little excitement, a little competition. Election of officers. Floor is open for election of one nomination.
Maybe over your home?
Open it to win everything today.
I move that all the same officers stay.
Okay, motion by Roland Davis, second by Monty, with the same slate of officers to be elected in the coming year. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Safe
Okay,
again.
in your packet, you're gonna find the committee assignments. Then you want to change committees, but to be assigned to a different committee, you need to let me know by the next meeting. The next meeting, we'll approve the committee assignments as presented. Executive committee, Keith.
Mr. President, we met last week, it was to go over planned projects and kind of prioritize everything. So if you guys look in your packet, the list is there. And as the projects come up, we'll vote on them and what we're going to do. That was the extent of our executive commission.
Okay, anybody here with the purpose of addressing the board? Anybody have comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to our slide presentation, our movie show. Wendell,
Yeah. Over?
We're gonna roll.
Like,
Well, one thing we're trying to do this year, the LAMP process for the flood insurance, of course, we're building to stop water from getting in the system. But while we're doing that, we want to try to ensure that we keep the flood protection and the flood insurance rates that we have right now. And the LAMP project has proceeded a little bit. They've done a rainfall study. And with the rainfall and the storm surge study, we have the projects that we did with the executive committee, the priority list. A little bit is based on what we see here. They're showing a little bit of overtopping in these areas. Not a lot. You'll see a -1, a -2. This is at the Crawfish pump station flood wall is a little bit low right here. We have a little gap over here, this little section E-South and E-North, and you see some water. They show a -2, and what they're saying is the flood won't get any higher than 2 feet below sea level. And that's because the land in this area is a -7 feet, that's 5 feet of water. But with the work that we're planning to do the coming year, we shouldn't see any overtopping based on the flood elevations that the LAMP process is done. We have a little bit, this is just between Bully Camp and Paul's Farm over here on the west side. We're ready to go ahead and raise that and get at least 16 and possibly 18. And that would keep all of this overtopping water from coming in. And that's based on a little overtopping, and with the rainfall map that they just completed, we actually can see a drop in the base flood elevations. And I would suggest that we don't drop them, keep them where they're at, and the flood insurance program gives you a bonus of so many feet you're above the base flood elevation, your flood insurance gets reduced. So again, that's something that the parish has to decide on, but we're working with them because of our system. And these are projects that we were looking at, the priority projects. One of the first ones we want to do is Golden Meadow Pump Station. Our levees over here are around 17 feet. The Corps built the wall near the Golden Meadow Pump Station. Here's Golden Meadow Junior High by Lafourche. Here's the 4-lane. It's about 13 feet. We want to bring it to possibly 18. If we can get it to 16 to 17, that'd be good. If it structurally can hold 18, that's one of the projects we have lined up. Then we have the desal levee. I think there's a close-up, yeah. This area here is a little bit lower, and if we do this project and we expect it to be less than $1 million, we've got an agreement from ConocoPhillips. They donated the property here. There's a little bit of property from Suez. They've donated it, and we're just about ready to get started on getting this project going. The other project is here. This is the Crawfish flood wall that's there. And again, we think in the ballpark of $1 million, we can get that thing up close to 16 to 18 feet. Right now, again, that was built again by the Corps. I asked them to build it 16 feet. They only built it about 13 and a half. This is the area this is the pump station number 4. Again, we're raising this levee here, and we'll be digging along the drainage canal. The benefit by digging here will be widening the drainage canal, which will improve the drainage situation coming to pump station number 4 near Yankee Canal and the Crawfish Pond here. The other thing, section F berm, is that we've got the levee up to 13 feet, but we took some material from the berm. We need to finish replacing that to get the strength. Also, we had a couple of seepage issues over here. We took care of them, but we want to make sure there's no chance of any seepage. So the project here, redoing the berm, is going to strengthen and also put a little bit material that if we do have some areas that have subsided some, we can bring it back to 13 pretty easily. Then the retention area, surface area of open water, the bayou, and here is 1.9 square miles. We're looking at isolating this to leave that, and that would leave just 1 square mile that we'd have to siphon out, which would cut it down in half. After the storm water from rainfall would leave the system, then we could slowly leak this out and get that water on top. That's another $1 million that we're trying to get done. The other issues are Rose flood wall improvement. We've raised the wall on the backside over here to 13 feet. Here's the 308 bridge, high rise. From there to by Lafourche, it's still only about 10 feet. We want to get that to 13. And then the other project is to get some protection against this wall. The Corps said if you can have the wall along in the coastal, you need some type of protection. And we're looking at putting some type of barrier, possibly a bulkhead or power clusters with cables to help keep any boats during a storm from coming across and causing damage here. And then the other issues we're looking at is a navigational lock. As you know, we're closing the floodgate much more often. It has become a problem. We've looked at actually putting the gate here and here. We think if we can get it here, of course, it'd be a better situation. The trick is going to be to keep navigation going while we're installing the structure, which probably means a prefab structure that we can stab pretty quickly within a short amount of time. So those would be the projects that we've looked at. Now, just in January, just want to show a little quick survey on how the situation is. This is the Golden Meadow on the east side, a little bit further back from the park. This marsh out here is a marsh project that we did with CAT money, and it's still doing well and working for us. This would be open water, so that's worked out real well. Here, can't tell, but this is another project that ConocoPhillips, Ducks Unlimited, the parish, and they're pumping in material. So this area, and you see it over here, they've already pumped it in. I'm expecting by the end of the year to have decent growth, and by next year you can't even tell that it was ever open water. I'm also hoping you can see a little bit of looks like waves of the surface. That's actually some silt, and I'm hoping that we see this line of marsh extend and maybe see some closing up in this area also. Again, that's a better shot of how much material was pumped in here. And like I said, without any planning, I think you're going to see this grow up pretty quickly. I think within 2 years we should have just solid marsh in here. This is another angle. They did containment. Again, I discussed with them, I felt they didn't need containment. We have enough marsh grass that they just got to pump in, and I think we're filled in pretty much the same way. And you can see the containment here, some water, but again, it's very, very shallow. I expect it to grow throughout this area. Here's outside the containment, just the overflow, and it's dry from the water being up. So again, we think we see some really good progress. This is a little bit further north from there, getting toward Galliana. This looks like kind of marsh, but this is actually would be, all of this area here would be open water. These are the terraces that through the past few years have been built. Again, ConocoPhillips, Ducks Unlimited, the parish, Coastal Protection Restoration Authority have all contributed money along with us. We contributed some money. And where this would be wide open water, you have these terraces growing right now, and the wave fetch, the waves don't get large enough to erode the marsh that we have. So these projects are working out real well. And I hear our fishermen are doing pretty well fishing along some of these terraces. Again, that's our little plastic sheet pile. That was a Christmas tree project that we never did do what we had intended it to do. We kept having erosion, put this plastic sheet pile and put out the grass growing there eventually. So again, it's continued. This is another area that was wide open with broken marsh, and we did the CIA project filled in, and we put the pipe down over here, didn't move it, and just let the stuff trickle out without any containment. And it closed off the canals. The canals used to be open this wide all the way to the levee. And again, the project worked out real well. Used to be open water. That project has filled that in. And then you see the stairway kind of opens up a little bit. And then this is the project we did in 2002. It's been over top of all the hurricanes, but it survived them. They had a little bit of money to put some terraces, so we put them out here to help protect the edge of the marsh that we have, and again, double benefits. This levee, we have gotten it up to about 17 feet, and we're working to continue that. Just showing how they do the terraces. They planted the grass around here, and so it's growing real good. This is about a year and a half of growing, and it's starting to fill in the middle. That's worked out, again, real well. Those terraces working out here. That's behind the office over here. Again, another one. But you're starting to see, this is some, these were the newer set of terraces, and Hurricane Barry did this damage on here. You can see how this is kind of not completely closed. So we did have a little damage from Barry, but still getting the benefits. Still other areas, heading north toward pump station number 2 in Galliana, about baseline. We still moving some material, getting it up here and finishing that segment between number 1 and number 2 and get that at 18-foot elevation. Contractor's still working there, getting some new dirt that the result of the fine that we agreed to pay him to do. And he was going to talk about one more pass of new material to get that done. And we're still taking that material, moving it here, drawing it, and then placing it on the levee as we need to. This is the area. Here's a bully camp. Again, our contract is over here. Putting the dirt up here. We're using some of this dirt to raise the levee near bully camp. Here's the Lafourche bully camp. This is some of the new work. We've got this up to right around 16, a little bit more. We'll get it to 18. This is close to 18 to 20, right near bully camp.
The work we did a few years ago for the seepage, that's holding up well?
Yeah, that's it. About bully camp, we had a whole 6 feet, about 4 feet of water coming through. Our engineers put a sheet pile wall that's actually buried in the segment of levee, and it stopped it. We have never had a problem since the project has worked out real well. But it was also very critical because our people paid attention. Had we not noticed that, and then that happened, this was the core repair for the flooding from Hurricane Juan. It got a 30-foot hole through that levee, and they just filled it with shale and put some clay over it, but put sheet piles. When the sheet piles rusted, the water's got in shale, and that's what kind of popped through the levee. So now we have some sheet pile going from the top of the levee past the shales all the way to clay. That's how we stopped that water from going through. But that was a critical thing that was done to keep the integrity. Again, this is the work our guys have been testing to see how to raise the levee from Bully Camp to the Apache Farm, Paul Dufresne's farm. And we've been working that material and getting it up. And here's the work over here, and bringing this up to 18. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, he was going to talk about finishing the job. We wanted to do this to see how to get it done, and so contractors could see the ways of accomplishing the elevation. And that's how guys work, and done a good job with it. And then the work at the Lafourche floodgate, this is the wall that was at 8 feet, now we've got protection up to 13. Driving the sheet pile down, Joe, was this minus 37, or been?
Yeah.
About minus 37, and protecting up to plus 13, where we were only down, maybe I think 15 feet, and only protected at plus 8. And that's the work in the rules that's been accomplished. They've almost finished the west side, and they'll come in here and repeat the process on the east side, and then drive some sheet pilings along the levee that we have in front of the church. And that's the parapet wall we put, and then we'll get this gap closed. That's why we put this in. This is 13 feet, and we've already raised the gate to plus 13, so this is gonna completely seal this area. This is on the east side, E-North. Again, we're raising the levee here. It's one of those areas that the flood map shows some overtopping. And again, that's a job we had done to put the dirt up, and now we'll be working. This is near the Lafourche community. And again, we need to raise this up another 2 to 3 feet. And that was our clean out, the work that was done. And here's the dirt that we use our contractor. Ben, he's on site? Is he working yet?
He's working on the south side.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's,
Is that sand that's white like that, or there's?
no, that's dirt just dried out real good. There was a little bit of, yeah, oh yeah, there was a little bit of sand that we did have, but, this is mostly a good clay. And some places we have a lot of material, so the contractor's just gonna be throwing the dirt up in some places, and other places, he's gonna have to truck from the places that have the greater amount of material to bring it over there. But again, this is the protected side on the east, on the west, this is the east side. That's the marsh that you see on the outside of the clover area. If you have no questions, we'll go to the L1 Coalition. The state of member of the coalition, $1,000 dues, like a motion to approve the payment of $1,000.
You've heard the recommendation of our general manager to appropriate $1,000 for the continuation of the LA1 Coalition membership. No wishes, gentlemen. Moved by Max, second by Mitch. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, the Watershed Initiative resolution, there's some money from the feds going down to the state. The state's calling this a Watershed Initiative. And there's a couple of resolutions in your packet. I'd like you to agree to both resolutions. One of them is to help with Morgan's and our mitigation levy by improving and strengthening the water control structures. The other one is a request to help pay for the lock that we have. And it could be a little bit of a stretch, but might as well give it a shot. See, we've got about $5 million, we need another $7 million. And so we'll put a preliminary request for that. So we just need the board to agree to these two resolutions. And if y'all agree to it, we'll move forward with it. Pass them on to the
Here's the
state.
recommendation of our general manager to Watershed Initiative, two resolutions, to adopt them and send them on to the proper authorities. No wishes to move our roll and second by roll. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, and then the award of construction management services for the Grand Valley floodgate. That was a process designed by the 3 levee districts and the manager, Rich Mormon, where we we requested proposals, we looked at them and rated them. Mitch looked at them and agreed that the GIS should be awarded that contract. And so we need the board to have a vote awarding it to GIS and forwarding that to Mitch, who's the project manager.
Okay, with the wishes of our general manager, recommendation of our general manager that we accept this GIS as the general manager of this project. discussion? Moved by Lonnie, second by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, the AE's vinyl sheet pile. We had advertised and we had some bids, but for one reason or another, we had to reject all the bids. But what we found out, was the price was so low, we didn't have to have a formal bid, so we decided to get quotes for the job. And you will find, let's see, what is it under?
SBL, Tidewater Dock, and Bobby Walker.
Yeah, that's right. And what we would like to do is accept the low quote.
Okay. We need actual vote on this?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, we'll vote, recommendation by general manager to accept the quote of SBL contractors in the amount of $25,800 for the AE vinyl sheet pilings to slow down some of the erosion on that area there. Moved by Mac, second by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
All right, F and G, we're asking for permission to somewhere in the coming year to buy a new truck and also give us the right to go ahead and purchase a new dozer. We would be on state contract if we would do this, or if not on state contract, we would advertise. We're not ready to do it right now. We're hoping we don't have to do it, but we'd like the board to give us permission. We may have to take this after year.
With the truck, you exchanging one, you're just adding to the fleet, or you just taking over?
Well, we have a truck that we're using that has some problems right now. We're gonna decommission it to get this one in place.
Okay, you heard the recommendation by general manager to approve the purchase of the new pickup truck on state contract. Four-wheel drive F-250, which I assume is the Ford, for the amount of $25,000 on state contract at the proper time when it's necessary.
As needed this year.
Okay, moved by Keith, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And we would, again, also like to look at the need to get a new dozer. We had some repairs done on it last year that were kind of big. And we think we may have to do something this year. We'd like to be able to give us the right, if necessary, to advertise for a new dozer, should the time come.
You've heard the recommendation by general manager to authorize the bidding for purchase of the new dozer, estimated $350,000.
Yeah. But the trade-in is gonna be less, yeah.
After the $25,000 gold, you'll get 50 years.
Yeah, but it was a real bull.
You asked for permission to look into the,
Well, we'd like to get permission to advertise for it if necessary.
okay,
The coming year.
Moved by Mitch, second by Monty. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Section E North, ready to advertise, we'd like to give the engineers a right to advertise for work.
That is the hauling of the moving dirt.
On Tolsley Farms, going from some property that Tolsley has given us the right to take, to improve the height from the corner of the intersection of the levee going into Tolsley, that southwest corner, to basically Superior Canal. We need to raise that because the levee has dropped below that flood elevation that we looked at.
Did we resolve the problem of a landowner requesting the possibility of building a fence farm in that area?
Not totally resolved, but we need to go forward with it. We can just work around the issue right now. We're actually getting the work done with that information now.
Okay, so you want to advertise the hauling of dirt from donated property in section E North, right? Global Farms to increase the elevation of the levee. Your wish, gentlemen? Moved by Keith, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, just want to announce that, again, as we talked about earlier on the slides, that the Section E South contractor is on site. Hopefully, he's gonna have that work finished by August 15th, when we get to the hard hurricane season, and we look forward to that project being completed. We still have Pontchartrain Partners There's still some material we can take out, but I really believe we need to get them, we have other areas that we need to get some material built. So I would like to be the last time, maybe we extend that contract. It's 90,000 yards of material at $3. The reason we kept doing it at $3 a cubic yard is a good price. We don't anticipate, that's a little bit across the board, you know. We don't think the future's gonna have as good a price. They're already there, no mobilization costs. So maybe go and hopefully, you know, with this, and there's still some other work they are left to do in our past contracts, they'll be out of here by this hurricane season, and I want to get them finished to work with the South End. So I would ask that y'all okay us moving forward with another, an extra added on to the contract, 90,000 cubic yards at $3 a cubic yard.
Okay, there's a recommendation of our general manager to get Punch Creek Gardens to allow them additional 90,000 cubic yards at $3 a yard on that project. That has been ongoing. Your wishes, gentlemen? Moved by Roland, second by Mitch. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And that's all I have.
Okay, any questions about general manager? I make it short. You know, it's the game tonight. You don't want to lose the game.
That's a half column, what do you mean by half column?
I think the estimate on the
Oh, yeah.
That's what, that's 1,700,
yes, sir.
1,800.
1,800. Without the
Our emails are not getting backed up. Our IT guy he just found out recently that Microsoft does not back up our emails. So he gave me quotes on, this one, 8 terabytes, which is, should be more than what we need to back up the emails. The records management states that we can't get rid of our emails, that we have to keep our emails forever. So we just want to get that.
The difference, I can't get mine and you've got to keep yours.
We got, exactly.
Any world. My computer won't accept it.
You might call that a win-win.
So do you need action from us or
I think we
just
need it because
information?
you.
It's within our purview, but I wanted the board to see what we're doing with it. It's within our spending allowance.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Move on to engineer reports, CPRA, Daniel.
Not much. I just wanted to give you a little update on T78 and the issue with the sheet pile wall. I don't know what kind of contact you've had with anyone, but I've requested from the project manager that we have a meeting, just sit down with you and any other interest, maybe Reggie and them.
Oh, yeah.
Since they're gonna be the ones.
They're gonna be responsible.
Exactly, and just to discuss going forward with it, and so talk to Brennan too, our director. So we'll I don't know if he's reached out yet. This was just last week, end of last week, and then they're all off in Baton Rouge. I forgot about it. They're off inauguration day or whatever that is.
Today?
So, yeah, today. Yeah. So, but anyway, expect something coming. We'll get you that.
All right, we're good. Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you.
Any questions, Daniel? Thank you. Okay, project engineers, Facility Associates, Ben.
Our first project is Louisiana Highway 1 elevation and realignment at the military blocks in Golden Meadow. Barton Talbot is the contractor. They are complete with the project. The lien period has expired. If you remember right, last meeting, we approved change order 1, which was balancing off all of the quantities for the project and assessing $61,000 in liquidated damages. Barton Talbot is disputing the $61,000 in damages, so they refused to sign the change order. Since then, we've had some conversations with Ray. Barton Talbot also followed up with their attorney and sent us a letter. And basically, they presented a court case, I think it was New Orleans School Board versus a contractor. And the judge in that case ruled that it was illegal for government agencies to withhold liquidated damages. In essence, it says you have to pay them, you have to pay the contractor what's due within 45 days of payment of them, submitting their application for payment. And if you want to assess liquidated damages or stipulated damages, you have to sue the contractor to go and get it back. That's what the judge ruled in that case. Okay, so in essence, you gotta pay him and then go back and get your money back. If
Well,
you
so
want to
just we
charge
go into
liquidated
executive
damages.
session at the end of the meeting and
Yeah.
discuss it.
So, what Ray and I discussed was, we felt as though we should, this is still open for discussion, okay? But we should pay Barn College everything that we know that we owe them, okay? So that's what some of the documents that we're gonna try to get approved today. So that way, then we're just disputing the damages only, okay? So we'll pay them everything that we know is due, and just be holding the 61,000, or in actuality, today, we're gonna still have the retainage is gonna be withheld. So what I would like to do, first of all, is withdraw or rescind, have you vote to rescind the change order that was approved last month, and approve a new change order, number one, that's what was presented. So basically, you need to rescind the first one and approve the new change order, number one. So instead of showing a decrease in contract price, it will show an increase in contract price at this time. We'll be anticipating to come back and get that money later.
So is that what we're going to executive
Yes,
session?
no,
or-
we're gonna go to executive session.
Should we-
But this we need to take care of.
Yeah, you can
right
take
now.
care of this now, and then we can.
What can we do that will
discuss.
come out of executive session after we make the decision?
I was thinking, can't we just
I would
decide
think
that
you
after
could, I think you
executive
could
session?
still process all these documents today that I'm gonna present, and still have the right to either withhold money before you pay them, or come back and sue them afterwards.
Again, on Ray's suggestion, what he's saying is, there was a little bit of a disagreement on the money that we all agreed that they should get. Ray suggested we get that off of the table, so that
Right.
doesn't muddy up the discussion that we're gonna have. Okay, so he's saying that what we passed last meeting, let's rescind that. Let's go ahead and pay the money that our engineers and, they agreed to. So we get that off the table, so we got a clean sheet, and then we go discuss possible lawsuit on that other 61,000.
So could we, and I'm just asking, could we rescind what we did last meeting and wait after executive session to pay him everything?
Well, we're not paying everything. I mean,
You're still gonna have,
understand,
you're still
we're not
gonna
messing
have the
with the
retainage.
61, we're not dealing with that issue. But yeah, we can wait till after.
You're still gonna
Once
be,
we agreed to pay that new change order, are we bound, who bound unless we come back and rescind that one?
you're bound to pay it, but you're still gonna be holding $127,000 in retainage.
Okay,
No, I'm
Your
just,
damages are 61,000.
again, from Ray's
So
suggestion,
you
just
still have enough money.
yeah.
pay what we all agreed, make that fit, and then we're gonna discuss 61 that ties to the
In
legal.
effect, you're requesting a change order to retain the amount of $71,636.25?
No, that's, application for payment on the 10. So you need to rescind the change order, approve the change order that I presented.
Well, I'm confused on which one you, okay, 36,000 is what you get.
This is the change order,
Okay,
$36,326.87, and 8 additional days to the contract time.
Okay.
That's what you
I
need.
wouldn't, understand you were still holding 127,000.
Yeah, in retainage, you still have a retainage payment.
That's good.
Okay. Okay, so let me understand this correctly, make sure I make the right motion. The motion has been presented that we rescind the action of the last committee meeting, last board meeting, disputing the, assessing them 61,000 stipulated damages, and agreeing to change order number 1 for an increase of $36,326.87 and 8 days of contract time.
That's correct.
If y'all understand it and you're ready to vote, you can go ahead and vote.
I'll do it.
Moved by motion, second by Mitch. Any favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay.
Good job.
No more like that today.
No, the rest of them are easy.
Okay.
And the contractor submitted pay application number 10 in the amount of $71,636.25. We recommended that be paid.
Okay. Contract, our engineers have recommended Pay application number 10 to Barnes Albert, the amount of $71,636.25 to be paid. Pay application number 10, your wishes. Moved by Keith, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay,
The Rose floodgate improvement and protection phase 5, steel A-frame wall and concrete eye wall. Sea Level Construction is the contractor. They're currently driving the sheet piles on the west side and fabricating the A-frames on the east side of the levee. Remember that last month, they had fallen behind by about 7 to 10 days. They added an additional crew to the project, so now they're back on schedule.
okay.
And they submitted an application for payment number 6 in the amount of $691,947.70. Recommended that we pay.
You've heard the recommendation of the engineers to pay Sea Level Construction to pay a request of 6 in the amount of $691,947.70. No issue. Moved by Roland, second by Monty. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Number section E-South shading and grading phase 2. Lowland is the contractor. They started degrassing and sort of chopping the existing levee. The rain that we've been having lately has kind of slowed them down, but they are kind of just getting started. They've submitted pay application number 1 in the amount of $45,065.62. We recommend that you pay.
Okay, the engineers have recommended we pay Lowland Construction request number 1 in the amount of $45,065.62. Your wishes, gentlemen. Moved by Max, second by Rich. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
On section E North, levee improvements. Surveying plan and specifications are complete, and we received approval from the state to begin advertising. And Window has already, during Window's presentation, we've already gotten approval, so I don't need that. So hopefully within the next week or so, we'll be advertising. Section D South, SBL Construction LLC was the low bidder in the amount of $582,501.37. We're currently processing the contract documents and trying to flange up the right-of-ways with conical filters. As soon as that's done, we begin construction.
It's already been approved now.
Yes, sir. Section F, we're complete with all the field work. We should be finished with the drawings by the end of this week. And we also request approval to advertise for bids on this project sometime in the next couple of weeks.
What's your estimate on that contract?
That one was 1.5 million.
Okay. Gentlemen, for the request. Moved by Max, second by Monty. We approve the engineer to go and call for bids on this section of, what's it, section E, A East? Is it?
Yeah.
F. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Section A East levee improvements, field surveying work is complete, and we'll begin those project plans soon. We'll go to Meadow Pump Station flood wall. Our preliminary project plans are complete. We'll be ready to go out for bid soon, but we need to send that to the state to get approval from them prior to advertising.
So we
If you can give us approval to advertise, pending approval from the state, or get some money from the state.
Why don't you approve all agreements, because we're gonna have to have another agreement with the state, not just the money, but an agreement such to do the work. So give you the right to approve all permits and advertising for that project.
Okay. Gentlemen, you've heard the request of the engineers and our general manager. that we go ahead and approve this, all this work to be done, the bidding and the work to be done based on the approval of the state and.
The contracts with the state, we're gonna have to sign a contract with the state to accept their money.
Okay. Your wishes, moved by Rich, seconded by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Let me ask you, what's the estimate, your estimate on that?
That was, 1.7 million.
And we have 1.5 million from the state COMESA funds.
I would ask all engineers, whenever you do this, give us an estimate what you're looking at. I hate to keep asking this, I want an idea what we're spending, you know? But if all of you involved, whenever you come up with a, let us know what you're talking about, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Ben? Okay, any questions, Ben? Thank you, Doug. We move on to, GIS, is it gonna be Laura or John?
Still get to look at me for a while.
She's smarter than you, John, I'd rather look at her than look at you.
Easy.
Anything about it?
Yeah, I still have to go a year,
The Lafourche water level control, which is the east retention that y'all had mentioned earlier. We are still working with the Corps on that permit. Mr. Ronald has budgeted about $1 million for that. I think that'll be high because basically we're just putting up Potato Ridge level in the area. It is pretty long, and we have 2 drainage structures to go, one to the north and one to the south area. But once we get that permit from the Corps and DNR, we'll move forward with that one. The desal flood wall improvements is at the Crawfish Farm pump station. That is also being budgeted at about $1 million right now. We have gotten the topographic surveys done. The geotechs have taken the bores and the cone penetrometer tests. So we hope to get some information back on them by the end of the month. We will have a 3-tier approach for that. I know y'all have also got $1 million budgeted for that, and we're gonna see how high we can get the structures for that $1 million. You know, if it, y'all may end up choosing the $700,000 structure or a $1.2 billion structure, but we will be presenting that to you hopefully by this time next month, so y'all can make that decision. And also, it's not on my agenda, but Wendell wanted me to talk to you a little bit more about the LAMP floodwater maps that he had mentioned briefly in his presentation. We're looking through that. One of the things that, I hate to toot Wendell's horn because he does it all the time himself.
Head's big enough.
Correct. But one of the things they did was check the overtop, and they went through the whole system and said, well, if it overtops, it'll overtop for this much here and this much there of the water coming into the system. And sure enough, all the places where they had calculated the most water would overtop the system is the places that Wendell had already planned to be repaired and raising. So we will be continuing to work on that and get the report to Wendell.
It was like borrow expected to throw every turn off fast.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
We'll get a rise out of you.
And that's all I have for y'all today.
So for you, 2 years more.
Any questions, John?
Thank you.
Okay, move on to, Neil, let's see.
All right, on the BRP South, that's based on pump station down to the Gold Meadow Park. That contract with Pontchartrain Partners is continuing. You approved earlier the 90,000 additional cubic yards on that project. We anticipate them being out of the project area before the start of hurricane season. They will have to cut a little bit of the levee again at the Gold Meadow Park like they did to come in and out with the first barge. But we'll make sure that's done well ahead of hurricane season. We're recommending approval of their pay request number 31, the amount of $223,047.33.
Thank you, great recommendation by the Pontchartrain Partners. They request number 31 at the amount of $223,047.33. Your wishes. Moved by Bob, seconded by Rich. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Just a quick, how much have we spent so far on that project?
Including retainage, 9.8 million, which is 491,000 of retainage we haven't paid yet. So the total project cost is gonna be just a little over $10 million at the end of it.
And that's about 10 miles of levee.
Yeah, very good. Okay,
On the Seaside Levee improvement, this is from the base on pump station going north all the way to the beginning of the Apache Farm. Currently, we're designing several options for improvements to this area. Right now, that section is at an elevation of about a +13, and we'd like to get it up to a +16 or possibly even a +18. We estimate to get it up to +16 is gonna be about a $1.1 million project. So this is utilizing all the borrowed material that was previously put up by RLB Contracting that ended earlier this year. So that's about a $1.1 million job if we want to get up to +16. If we want to get up to +18, it's going to be about a $1.6 million project. So we're still working on some of the details. We're going to be meeting with Wendell over the next month to decide on what we recommend doing. But we anticipate coming to you guys next month for approval if we can advertising on that. And lastly, on Morganza to the Gulf Reach L, we are complete with plans and specs to begin reviewing with the district to raise or to construct the levee from Apache Farm out to Grand Bayou, including the beginning of some features on the Bayou Blue structure. And Mitch and I are going to be getting together soon to review that.
okay. Any questions about Neil?
Windows, that's section C South, that's the land we talked about doing, the 16 or 18, and maybe
Yeah,
kind of splitting it
Bully
out.
Camp, and we really look at trying to get to the bridge that goes to the farm, you know, the Paul Farm. Because according to the flood map that they did for that, they showed that area having a 13 to 14 elevation. And we have a couple of areas that dip just below 12, all along that.
Yeah,
We
just
built
a-
it to 13, well, we built it 15 originally,
Yeah.
and some of them are dipping past 12, but we're gonna get this up there. The other good thing with all the dirt we put in there, over the next 10 years, when you see these little dips, that dirt's gonna be right there. Very inexpensively, we can maintain those elevations and not have to get a big contract out of it.
So if Charlotte Funds makes a split this project, what's the chances of doing it in 2 phases, it becoming and costing about the same 1.6
I
million
think
total?
as long as we still that $1 million threshold, I think we'll be fine with not having a big mobilization cost that would eat up a small project.
Okay, any questions for Neil? Thank you. Okay, Delta Coast.
He's in New Orleans. He's in New Orleans.
MNC.
Good time. Something about a football game. Good time.
Okay, All South Construction.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Gavin Gillen. I'm doing a presentation for Stevie Smith today. The first project that we have mentioned in our report is the Reach K Hurricane Barrier Rehab project. There is a little bit more information I have gotten since this report came to you all this morning. We have Category B emergency work in the amount of $248,000 that we requested from FEMA. This is for the total overtopping. I believe that we had Marsh Buggy out there, and that's going to cover, that was covered under that $248,000. We also have a Category D permanent repairs in the amount of about $3 million. We're looking at $1.8 million for 55,000 cubic yards of material that was lost along Reach K. There was 7,500 linear feet out of the 30,000 linear feet of Reach K that was damaged from Hurricane Barry. So that 55,000 cubic yards of material, that's going to come in at $1.8 million. There's also about $1.1 million of terraces that were damaged, so we're submitting that to FEMA as well. And then there's about $92,000 for the damage to the water patrol structures, the 2 water patrol structures out here. Moving down to the Reach K Marsh Mitigation. Construction settlement period has ended and the contractor was approved to begin dredging operations on December 27th. The contractor completing repairs to dredge equipment, mobilizing the pipeline and setting grade stakes. The contractor is beginning dredging tomorrow. And then just based on how the progress moves along, we may be shortening the end date, but it's tentatively set for March 22nd.
And that's the one, that's gonna be the corner over here, the Apache Farm and our levee. We're doing 30 acres of Marsh.
And then for our newer projects, we've got Reach K Reshaping, which is essentially taking place from the start of Phase 2 access road, which is Station 1771, and going up to the South Water Control Structure. This is an estimated cost of about $800,000, and it's going to just reshape all the material. There's a section that's, well, the plans and specs are currently under review, and we're hoping that things kind of move along and that we can start advertising within the next few weeks. I was hoping to talk to you about this later after.
And again, we do this, that money goes through us, it comes from several, so we have to work through Reggie and Mitch
You need
to approve
authorization
or not.
from us to deal to advertise for bids?
No, sir, we haven't gotten approval yet for the plans and specifications. Once we get that information, we may have to get authorization, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And then Phase 2, we actually began working on that today. We just wrapped up Phase 1, last week. We sent that out for review, so we're now kicking off on Phase 2. Phase 2 is from the floodgate to the start of the Phase 1 project, and this is just to elevate the levee. We're looking to bring that 55,000 cubic yards that we requested from FEMA. We're looking to bring that into this phase and just elevate the levee section at that point. So, hoping that, hoping that advertising would begin in early March for that one. And there's no estimate on that one yet, because we're just,
Any questions you have?
okay, thank you.
Okay, next, Acton, Nick.
Nick Claire with Apton. The Grand Body Floodgate bid package is ready to go when you guys are, and we'll be meeting with Wendell and Mitch in the coming weeks to discuss what our role is going to look like throughout construction. So we'll be here for y'all, we'll be here for the residents to serve y'all and make sure that this project is going to get constructed successfully and make sure we have some good protection for people.
Okay, legal purpose or rights of ways, we've got about 3 minutes.
None?
Let's go Tigers.
Put it in a minute.
Mr. Attorney, we're going to be in executive session now. Okay, Finance Committee, Monty.
Go Tigers. No, approve as presented. So look for the board to approve the invoice as presented.
Okay, you have the motion by the chairman of the committee to approve the invoices as presented, seconded by the vice chairman of that committee. Any discussion on this matter? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, by the way, it's on the bitch.
Oh, that's a big difference there, bro.
It's green.
You're right. It's true. Okay, anything else on that?
No, that's it.
Personnel committee, Lonnie.
Okay, Personnel Committee, we just had an amendment to on-call rotation in 2019. It was kind of like a voluntary rotation policy, mandatory on-call rotation policy for 2020, so we just need the board to accept the amendment to that policy.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of the chairman of the committee, Monty, to amend the policy to include the on-call required instead of voluntary. Move seconded by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Okay, any old business? Any old business? And a new business? And a new business? Okay, we are, asked you to vacate the premises so we can go to executive session. Question to go into executive session. Moved by Monty, seconded by Mitch. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We're in executive session.